Hi everyone, it's 3:30 on Wednesday, December 9th, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Okay, Chair Lavinda,
Here.
Vice Chair George Rotel. I'm here. Absent is Kelly Devlin, Nicole Sussman.
Here.
Alternate board members Deborah Keith
Here.
and Nora Kodak.
Here.
All right, so we have 6 people. We have a quorum.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we also need to approve the November 4th, 2020 Park and Rec Board meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Yep.
Someone to second it?
Me.
Okay, so Nicole's.
Aye.
And Deb. Thank you. Everyone in favor of
Aye.
approving? Aye. Okay, great. All the formality I'm not used to. Anyway, so actually, we don't really need to address it today, but moving forward, if everybody's okay with it, like last time I know there was a lady here that I didn't recognize and I didn't know her name until afterwards, and she wanted to say something, but it was kind of at the end of everything else that we were talking about. So like moving forward, if everybody's okay with it, if there's citizen comments or something that somebody wants to say, I'm going to move it to the beginning so they don't have to sit through all of it if they don't want to. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. And while, like, I don't think 3 minutes, I don't want to like cut somebody off at the knees at 3 minutes like they're on a timer, but I also don't think it's beneficial to let them go like on for 45 minutes either, and then we don't start anything until, 4:30. So, we might do something in the middle if everybody's good with it. Everybody's in favor of blue, okay? Are you good with it? No, I'm not going to cut them off at 3 minutes. If you guys want to talk about like how long we want to give them, I guess it just depends on what the issue is.
Well, that's what I suggest, that we cut them like 3 minutes or something like that.
Okay.
And then we expand, we make it, let them know that it's fine, that's fine. So I'm still going.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that then? I'm fine with it. Okay. So the next time we'll just move it. In the next meeting's minutes, we'll move that up to item number 3, like citizen comments, and then we'll limit it to 3 minutes unless it's a pressing issue that they need to talk about. Okay,
Yeah.
so.
I recommend somebody put that out as a motion,
Oh, okay.
and we go ahead and vote on it,
Okay,
just so we have it documented.
okay.
So, do you want to make the motion since you brought it up? The motion is to allow citizens, if present, to speak at the beginning of the meeting for a brief period of time. If you want to define it, you can define it, but
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to move citizen comments to the beginning of the agenda after the approval of the current agenda, the past agenda. I'd like to move it to basically item number 3. Do I have a second motion?
seconded by Debbie Keith, okay?
All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
Okay, so the motion passes.
6-0, right?
6-0.
And lastly, do we have an agenda? I didn't see an agenda for today's, because the first thing is to approve the agenda for today.
No, she emailed you the agenda.
Okay.
And then she only made 2 copies, so I just I printed out what she emailed us.
Okay, then Nicole and I will share it. We do need to make a motion to accept it also.
Okay, so would someone like to make a motion to accept today's agenda?
Okay.
May I have a second?
Aye.
All in
Okay, then-
favor?
Aye.
Everyone in favor?
Okay, 6-0. All righty.
Okay, so item number 3 on our agenda is the presentation of the park surveys and suggested improvements that we would give to city council members. And I'm open, like, we can go in any order. If someone wants to volunteer to go first, or I can go first, it doesn't matter.
Can we go, would it be okay if we went in order that I put it on the, because it'll be easier for me to take notes?
Absolutely.
So, which would put me up first, Shock, South Park, and 2nd Street.
Sure.
So I went by those three, and quite frankly, I'd never even noticed those parks before, having lived here for 10 years. But using the word park might be a little bit of a stretch. They're just basically small lots. No amenities other than one bench at each park. They're all very nicely maintained by our grounds crews and maintenance crews. I don't know how much use they got. I went by 3 times I can remember, and never saw anybody there. But they're very attractive. Again, maintenance has done a great job, and I can't think of any additions that we would want to make there or anything we would want to add. I don't think it needs another bench. I think probably people that are jogging just kind of pass through there, stretch out a little bit and move on. I don't know, so you might even want to consider selling them. I don't know how much they're used. Len, can you add to that? I mean,
Yeah, they're basically pass-throughs.
Pass-throughs.
Every once in a while, someone will go out there and sit on a bench, maybe go fishing. That's mainly what most of the pocket parks are.
so I don't have any suggestions for improvements. We're not going to knock seawalls down and put kayak access or anything like that. The one question I would have is on the 2nd Street Park, there are a number of PVC, I wouldn't call them pilings, they're little straight up PVC pipes. What are those for?
Manatee
Oh, okay.
prevention from hitting the pipe.
All right. Is there a drain pipe there? Is that why? Okay, all right. So I don't have any recommendation for improvement. They're all very nicely maintained.
Okay, I can just add to that a little, only because like, I'm only one house in from the South Park, so like literally if I'm sitting on my back, if I'm on my dock or in my backyard, I can see, and because there's no like, thing blocking the vision, I know how much that park gets used very, and like during COVID, it got used a lot. When the park across the street was gated and locked, that park was full constantly with people working out, with people fishing. And then people they ride their bikes, they sit there and fish, they sit there under a tree. It does get used enough to where if I lived right next door to it, it would bother me because it's used that much. So it does. The only suggestions I would make, just because I'm literally in those 2 parks all the time with my dog, is, recycle, no one's going to say I'm not for the environment and I don't want to recycle, but there's no recycle bins. And there's also no dog poo bags.
I was going to add that, yeah.
Which, there's poo in the park a lot, which bothers me that people don't do that. For the 2nd Street Park, and Deb can speak to it more than me because she stares into that one, but that one, it has the bench and it's got the pier where the South Park doesn't have a pier, so we can go out. People fish on it all the time, but there's no water. So there's one of those stations where you can clean a fish. So it's bloody and gross a lot, and people leave fish that's there, and there's no way for them to rinse it. And I know, you probably can't add water there. I don't know why that was put there when it's really not. With a bucket and a.
That's pretty good.
Bucket and a string.
Yeah, well.
I mean, we can put a sign there, wash it up and show a bucket.
And which park are you referring to?
2nd Street.
In 2nd, okay.
Yeah, because they have the pier and people are always fishing there, riding their bikes up there, or reading or whatever, but there's always blood all over that dock or that, because people are fishing and then they're not doing the bucket on the string thing. And I know you want to say something.
And so you're gonna think I'm disagreeing, but I'm out there every day too. And most of the people that fish there do have a bucket and they do bring it up and wash it off. There have been some people, we have a lot of people that come there are not even from Bell Beach. They park at the 1st Street and 2nd Street. They park at the Indian Rocks playground, or they'll park right in front. And we have a lot of lovely, lovely families that go there. But occasionally you get people that leave the things there. But I don't know how to put plumbing in the park. That would be a huge expense.
No, I'm not suggesting that, I don't even know if we need a sign. I don't go to that as much as you do, but I've seen it a handful of times. but I, usually more in the South Street part every day or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
But it's just a thought, I don't mean to
Right.
like suggest that we do water or whatever, but, I thought we could talk about it. But they are both well maintained, and they're nice parks.
Your crew does an amazing job.
Oh, yeah, they do. They look nice. And like, I know, like, one time one of the coverings was broken, and you guys were out there right away to fix that, so.
Mhm.
They look wholesome, on track.
Is it a big deal to put a little sign on the dock where people leave a mess? Just say, just wash it off when you're done.
Yeah.
You go sign for that.
I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
The crew bags are definitely necessary.
Yeah. And those are not that expensive, so that's nice. And those aren't because I know like in Indian Rocks Beach, they have the wooden ones that are rotting. And
Yeah.
people just shove like old Publix bags in them and they don't look very nice and they're falling apart. So it looks like the ones that he has on the list aren't that, so that's great.
We're in a bunch of the parks there, aren't you?
All right, so are you?
But just make sure I understand that, are we asking the city to put a sign asking them to people to clean up after themselves? Is that, are we officially asking them to do that, or are we considering that?
I don't know, I think it's a good idea. I mean, people that fish in these various places regularly, know what they're about to, most of the time, in the spring, so they can wash it off. But if it needs some helpful reminder, you know,
It's not a big deal, it can't hurt.
I agree, I think it should happen.
There's an entrance sign there, warning about coyotes. That looks like it's an open door lock that you can easily just slip in a form there to, just as a quick fix.
That's true.
And just update that piece of paper and then something easier than a plaque or a separate sign. I don't know if it's gonna help. I think people.
you know, I'm just thinking a little placard that would go on the dock.
That would be more efficient.
where they
but-
do it.
Right where they do things, just say, here's wash it off, bucket water or
You
something.
should put them on all of them.
Don't leave your beer cans and water bottles.
That have a dock.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of signs everywhere, there's signs. I mean, if people are gonna let their dogs poop, it doesn't matter whether there's a sign that says, don't let your dogs poop here or not. I mean, so I might suggest we ask the city to consider that. Maybe we don't want to spend any money on, but it becomes a real problem. If, those who live there are seeing it on a regular basis, then is that what we're saying? That on a regular basis, there's dog poop and there's, okay, so. Okay, I mean,
That is in,
it-
I don't care where
I know.
you go,
yeah,
they did a study on that. 60% of the people don't pick up after.
Oh, it's amazing.
wow, yeah.
I didn't realize it was that high, but,
Yeah. No.
I walked at least twice a day, and people allow their dogs to poo on the sidewalk.
I know, it's
On
just,
the bridge, take
Oh, yeah.
It's not the big bridges up.
in your yard, they walk by and let them poop in your yard. I mean, it's not all, yeah. So, would we be better served by maybe just simpler when we do the Bel Air Beach City update, which we do, I guess, as needed? Just a general reminder to the public to clean up after themselves at the access, and it just seems some kind of, telling adults, okay, if you clean a fish, to clean up after yourself. Maybe a general reminder to everybody. I mean, I'm not directing here. I'm just wondering if we might try that before we spend any money and our Kyle's time and people's time printing up new signs and putting them up for something that should be self-obvious. What do we think as a whole? What do we want to do?
I think it's a sign is a simple thing, but then you put a little placard on the top. Why do you do it?
Okay.
But if it's a big deal, you
It's
have
not.
to get permission from the city
Okay.
Do you want to make a motion to take a vote for that, or are we just going to leave it as?
I think I'll just write them up as recommendations. I'll put that down as a recommendation. And that's probably going to apply to all the parks.
Absolutely.
Some have those poop signs, some don't.
Okay.
Tammy, I think you're next.
I am. Okay, so I surveyed the Marina, Morgan Park, and 7th Street Park. So I did the Marina and Morgan Park on November 24th, and I know like things can change, especially as far as like, you know, maintenance or whatever, but so I'll start with Morgan Park because that's the top of my list. The general condition of the park was fair to good. It looked nice, it was, you know, clean, there was no garbage or anything anywhere. There's tons of garbage cans there. I didn't really see any recycling. The bathrooms are clean, the roof of the structures, both of the bathroom and the little tent thing, or whatever you want to call it, gazebo, look pretty new. I don't know when those were put on, but the roofs look really nice. The landscape was okay. It's kind of like a combo of rocks and mulch. And so where the rocks are, it looks like there were some new like little landscaping plants planted recently. They're all about the same size. They look really nice. But up by the sign, and I have pictures of all this, it's like mulch, and then half of it is like all dirt where the mulch blew away. So I didn't know, like, one of my suggestions would be that, like, it was just the little river rock, the pebble stuff that's by the street. If we could do that by the Morgan Park sign, because most of it, the mulch is gone. I mean, if you just want to remulch it because it's less expensive, and you could do that, like, you know, once a year, like people do for their yards, I'm not sure. You could have done it the following weekend. I just surveyed the day I was there. So, and that was one thing that I saw. The parking lot is in decent shape. There's some cracks and stuff like that, but it's not terrible. Like, you're not like falling in puddles or anything like that. The handicap slots are really easy to read, but there's a couple of slots for compact cars where like the paint showing that it's compact is kind of like faded off. I don't know if we really are worried about that. And the bathrooms, like while they were clean, and
I'm sorry.
the bathrooms, while they were clean and have toilet paper and soap, which is all the important things, like I would say they would need a little TLC so they don't get worse. There's rust, and the bathroom floors are all scuffed up. I have pictures of this that I will email to Patty, and then she can kind of put all of our recaps together, and then pictures she can scan yours or however she wants to do it. But the floors are all scraped up, and there's like where like the water's running down, there's rust on the outside of the building, and then on the sink. The mirrors pretty much, I mean, it doesn't really need to be there because you can't see yourself in it. I'm sure it's got to be made out of a material that can't break, so. But I don't know how far we let that go before we, like, do we let the sink fall off, like rust off, or do we just, you know, do we try to keep up with it? I'm not sure the last time any of this was done. And then, that was pretty much it. But overall, it's really nice. There's nice signs, like the little walkway's nice. Like, even though it's like public access, it's very clean and well kept. So it's just like, other than the rust, it's just a little bit of like maintenance to, you know, help beautify our city. The marina, I surveyed on the same day. The general condition was, I would say, okay to fair. It didn't seem extremely clear that there's public parking there. I know there's like a little thing. I don't know if we're not trying to advertise that or if I missed it. I don't know how much money we make off of that parking a month. Do you know? I was curious.
Normally it's about $6,000 or $7,000 a year.
A year.
Last year, because of COVID, it was, I think it ended up like $30,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and really that was when the beaches were closed. The parking lot had never had a bunch of parking in it. Usually it's a couple cars here and there. But after COVID, there were no parking spaces for probably a month, which, you know, it's just unusual. It's just what it was. And it's dramatically dropped back off now.
Could you tell if it was a lot of turnover, or people were staying for a long amount of time? Like by the parking meter, like recap?
Well, now, we've changed the parking meter to, they have to buy it 3 hours at a time. So you can't tell if they're 3 hours or they're coming back and putting 3 more hours in,
Okay,
you know, because it's not regulated like that.
okay.
But it's making them come back to the vehicle.
So people definitely know it's there now, because 6 to 30 is awesome.
Well, it's going,
Not that COVID was awesome. it was-
no, it's going back
it
the
was
other
awesome.
way now. It's going back to what it used to be. I mean, last couple weekends, it's, you know, it's been 2 or 3 cars in there, you know. And we are using it currently as a staging area for the Gulf Boulevard undergrounding and beach access.
Yeah, so I mentioned that too, but it's, I wasn't sure about the, okay, so, let me take a mark there. It looks like the marina rental slots are well kept. The slip numbers look like the paint's all chipped, and I don't know the last time those were put on, but like huge sections of them are missing. You can still tell it's a 4, but it's like huge chunks of the glue is missing. We may not care about that, but the gate is in good shape, the lights look great. We've talked about, there's no bathrooms, there's very few garbage cans, no recycling, very little like landscaping. And then Lynn and I talked about the parking lot, like because it's a staging, I know they've probably done some damage, but like it's rough driving your car through it. Like it's getting out on both exits, it's like there's a 4-inch drop, and I have pictures of all of this, but I just, you know, I don't know what I mean, obviously we can make recommendations, I don't know what we can do or.
Well, part of the problem is you can't pave it unless you put a stormwater pond in the middle of it.
Oh,
Why
Which is
can't
the
we
problem.
pave it?
okay.
I couldn't understand you.
Why
You-
could,
You can't pave it unless you put a stormwater pond in the middle of it. Yeah, see, that's why they've left it as it is. Because if you, right now, it's considered gravel, I guess, even though it's, what it is, it's millings from, you know, a road project, and they put them in there. And actually, we're gonna put a few more of them in there, because we've got some from 7th Street, right? Yeah. So, but we're not gonna spread those until after they're moved out. But, yeah, if they wanted to pave it like out here, we'd have to create a stormwater pond.
That seems like.
No, it's just the requirement of the, you know, the Southwest Water Management to get a permit to do that.
But so when they move all the equipment and all of the materials out of there, there'll be something to maybe try to level it out.
We're gonna put what millings we got, we're gonna spread them and try to smooth it out a little bit. But yeah, the city's looked at that for many, many years.
I'm sure.
You know, and we actually have a design with the stormwater pond right in the middle of it.
Wow. The seawall seemed to be okay as you walk down there?
Hmm?
The seawall seemed to be in pretty
Well, I
good shape.
tried to get in, I don't have a key to
Oh,
get
that's
into
true.
the marina, so like all I could literally do was go up to the fence and kind of stick my nose through, but yeah, it seemed like it was okay, there was nobody really there that I could even like ask, but you know, there was nobody at their boat, or there was somebody that was detailing a boat, but they were working, so it wasn't gonna bother them. So I didn't really get to go down and like, you know, see if the seawalls were solid, that would have to be maybe equipment or something.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with those seawalls, they're in good shape.
And then like, you know, that day, you know, it's also mulch on either side of the entrance, which most of it just kind of runs right into the, you know, the exit going out, and the palm trees like really needed to be trimmed that day, but they could be done early, I don't know. So it's just a matter of, it could be time.
Yeah. You said the palm trees got trimmed.
I'm sorry?
The palm trees got trimmed.
Yeah, I figured, because it looked like they were just, it was like ready to be done. So really, other than that, like I know that the parking lot is a big deal. Huge project. That would be the only thing that I would suggest on those would be just a little bit of cleanup at the beginning, because those are where the big craters are for your car. Like if you're gonna fill in right at the two exits. I'm driving so slow. And then just a little bit of love on the landscaping, just so it looks nice off of Gulf Boulevard, because it just, And then 7th Street Park, as I mentioned, I went November 24th and December 3rd, and it was under complete construction both times. And the first time I could barely get down the road in my car, so I felt bad for the people. And then the next time I walked, and it's just all ripped out equipment. So I'm sure it's going to look very nice when it's done. It's just.
Yeah, that's a stormwater project for 7th Street, and then the county's going to do some more work on the pump station, so we're going to be tearing up even the boat ramp garage.
Is that like a 6-month project?
No, it's 120 days, so it'll be done end of March, maybe sooner.
Did anybody have anything they wanted to add, like you didn't need to go here, but you could go here all the time, so.
Is 7th Street like second, is 7th like second, is just a small lot? 7th is the one with a boat ramp, right?
Yeah.
It is a small lot like the other two, but it's a ramp.
Okay. Did the boat ramp seem to be in decent shape?
You couldn't get down there.
You couldn't even get
There
down
were
there?
huge pieces of equipment.
Okay.
And it's all ripped out, and from the road, I mean, it was a total construction.
Got it.
I would think it would be dangerous for me to.
Well, just
Yeah.
FYI, we've got a savings account to redo the ramp. So we're we'll put yeah, like $12,000 a year aside to redo that ramp.
Yeah, it was not possible for me to get down. Okay, then the next one says Keith, but I think, is that me? Okay, I'm done.
Okay, well, I had the 20th and 25th, and that was the first time I've ever been to both of them, and they were just beautifully maintained. I would add nothing. They have the bench and the little dock area. There were 2 lovely plaques from the people that donated the area, and then something to memorialize someone else. They do have the dog food, which I
Oh, good. You're
want one of
jealous.
them next to my house. But I thought that they were just really well maintained. And the only thing, once again, it's like mulch goes on at different times, and some of it wasn't, I thought they were wonderful. We changed nothing.
Okay, perfect.
I live on 20th Street. And I agree with great 25th. I fish with one of my neighbors off that dock. It's popular for us. But one of the suggestions was that there's a seawater there across the both places. And there's no fence or anything. A young child could go into the seawater. Because it's not up here.
Can you speak in your mic? My hearing is not that good. I can't hear you, Joel.
Sorry. Can you hear me now? So there's seawall at 20th Street, and it's at grass level or ground level. And, so small kids get down there, there's a chance they could just fall off into the water. I was wondering, is it prudent to put a little short fence up there, or not? I'm just bringing up that concern.
George, we don't have a fence in any of the
I know.
And there are lots of, it's like you have to take care of your dog, you have to take care of your child. And there were people in the park next to me all the time, often, playing, doing different things. I don't know that would be a good expense to just do it at one park.
I'm not arguing for or against it. I was just bringing up the concern of one of the people that live on the block.
Right, okay.
So I don't have a problem either way.
Oh, I feel bad.
You guys kind of have to share. Right, I had 16th Street and also Hibiscus Park. I really like 16th Street. I've been there many, many times. It's wide open. It's always maintained very, very beautifully. I went through it and kind of nitpicked it, just to document it. The fillet table where they do the fish, it's kind of cut up. I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's going to hold up for many, many years, but it's there. The seawall, it has some cracks on it, and it also has this exposed, it's like an iron, yeah, I'm showing pictures of all of them, and it's, once they start cracking and showing that kind of rust, it means that water's getting into it, and they're starting to deteriorate. So it's something to keep an eye on, and on the north end corner, or next to that pink house, the half the block is just cut off. Do I think it's a big deal? I don't know, honestly. I don't know if it's compromising the rest. I think it's just something to keep your eye on. I don't know how much it costs just to patch that up a little bit, or if it's a full redo, it's something to look into. On the pathway, there is, I took a picture with my foot on there. It's not that big of a hole, just somebody could trip on it. If it's easy to throw a little concrete on there to avoid anyone falling there, I think it's an easy fix, be patchworked. Other than that, I love that park, and it's always maintained very, very beautifully. Landscape, everything. Hibiscus Park, I have not been there before. This is my first time. It's one of the smaller little lots. I don't know how much it's used because there's a lot of lots around it that are a lot larger and wider. I see more people gathering there, but again, I'm not in that area often. That seawall has a whole host of problems of it cracking the whole entire way through. Again, I'm not an expert, I have no idea, but I did a 5-minute Google search and it kind of shows that it's starting to deteriorate. I don't know how many years it has on it, or if it's something that can just kind of be wrapped again with concrete, or if it has to be redone. I'm not quite sure. The bench there has a little bit of algae growing on it. I think that a scrubber, a power wash would be useful. Something important. What was that? Yep, that was my important. I saw this little hole, and I go, what kind of creature's coming in here? This is so strange with the shells. It's not. It's a little tiny sinkhole, which I also Googled is a sign of the seawall, water coming in and pulling down. So that is a potential hazard for anyone's walking there. And when we're done to beautify it, we can add more seashells because those are missing as well. The house next to it, I believe I put the address on there. It is, I'm not sure where Bel Air Beach's property line is and that house is. It's very different than the picture on the website. Their fence, I believe it's theirs, is starting to lean over. There's a lot of palms that are kind of overgrowing and pushing it. There's a papaya tree pushing it down. They put a fence or a gate there in the middle of their fence, so I'm assuming they're using it as an extension. It was left open, I don't know. It's unsightly. I think it would be worth looking into where our property line is and putting up our own fence. It would drastically change it because I think by looking at that backyard, it's going to be unkept for quite some time, and it's not that large of a priority, and I think it's going to start to shift and fall over time with the growth of the palms pushing it. Again, I don't know how much this park is used and visited, but this one seemed to be pretty, just seemed a little dingy, seemed a little bit left behind, and certainly worried about that little sinkhole. But I took pictures of it, I wrote down what I kind of Googled and found, and other than that, the landscaping's fine. Again, I don't know, there's a palm in front of it, which side, who that belongs to.
And this is the bench and hibiscus?
That's the bench, yeah. It's one of those compressed with plastic kind of material, so that will hold up for a very, very, very long time. Just needs to be scrubbed down. I think it'll look brand new with a little scrub. Nothing's broken on it, it doesn't need to be replaced. I think it just needs a little cleaning, but on the bottom of the priority list.
These pictures are great, thank you.
Thank you.
And then this is just like the landscaping, you said that needs shells.
It just could use shells. I'm wondering if they purposely kind of scooped them out, because I would imagine a lawnmower going anywhere near that would be a problem. So it might be that they do not want to replenish that with shells, and they just want to leave it, maybe plant more grass, maybe put mulch or whatever's friendly. It's really not that big of a deal. Again, I was nitpicking while I was there. Yeah, just little ways it can look a little bit nicer.
Oh, these are great, thank you.
What are your pictures, George?
You're up, George.
No pictures. I had it, I think, easy. I had Crossman Park and City Hall parks. And Crossman, I don't know what to say about it. It looks great, nicely landscaped, it always looks good. I've never seen anybody in it, because there's nothing to do with it.
Where's the bench?
Well, that's on the sidewalk.
Duke's in there all
Have you
the
ever seen
time.
anybody? I've never seen anybody on the bench either.
Oh, I see people on the bench.
Okay, well, no, I mean, it's nicely landscaped, it looks very nice. It's kind of a, to me, it's a park without a purpose. I mean, you can't fish there, you can't go to the beach there, you can't. You don't even want, I mean, I don't particularly want to sit there, but sit someplace, I want to look over the water or the beach or something. So I don't know what its purpose is, other than to city lot, someone donated it or something, or dressed it up to make it look nice. So I can't see any reason to change anything unless, well, I don't know. You, one time talked about your sign for LA Beach. Would that be where we're going?
No, right here.
Right out where, okay. Well, then I sure don't know what the purpose of the park is. But it looks nice and it looks clean and neat. And, City Hall. City Hall Park is about everything. And I think, personally, I think it's in really good shape. I don't know the condition of the tennis courts, but I think I just saw people out there playing tennis. And I think we'll resurface those soon.
Yeah, we're getting ready to redo the whole tennis court. Take new fencing, new resurface, new nets, and
Pickleball.
pickleball. I was trying to think.
Pickleball.
Okay, well, I mean, that looks, to a non-tennis player, it looks great just driving by it. So I don't think, if we're doing all this work, I'm sure it's going to look a lot better. The playground, it's not the greatest, but it's functional, and I think people use it a lot. The kids use it, I've seen it there. It's in okay shape. Some of the equipment probably could be replaced.
Did anything look dangerous or just old?
No, I didn't see anything dangerous. Just the, it wasn't the latest stuff. But it looks safe. I don't know.
Do you know how old it is?
Probably playground equipment, it's probably 17 or 18 years old.
I think
We,
it'd be-
we had a grant application, but city council opted not to take it, to redo that whole park.
that's about right, because we bought our house about 17, almost 17 years ago. And it was being done like a year and a half ago.
Right. Yeah, it was somewhere in that time frame.
So, no danger. I think it looks very functional. It's an asset to the city. I think that's a nice park like that right there. There are no facilities for that large park. The facilities are in here. But I don't think that's a big deal. I don't know how people feel about putting facilities out there in parks or whatever. I mean, that's the only thing that, when I think tennis courts and playground and basketball court, piers, fishing piers, things like that, maybe there should be some kind of facilities somewhere else other than in here.
People aren't allowed to use the facilities in here anyway, are they? They are, between 9 and 4?
That's it.
And people know that.
Mostly the people who walk the bridge.
That's it?
So, I mean, as far as recommendation or non-recommendation, I would have having some kind of facilities out there someplace for kids and parents to use. I don't know if that's a too big a deal or not.
Yeah, well, George, you know better than anybody because you've been on this. You know, that train's kind of left the station with the grant that got disapproved by the
Yeah.
city council. So
Well, I'm
if
just,
we want to revisit some part of that, maybe like, I know, and for our employees here, from the safety sake and the general cleanliness sake, you know, maybe, well, it's very controversial, the whole idea of putting facilities out here because it invites the public in, and we don't want our facilities to be used really by the public. We want them to be for ourselves. So, you know, you want to have a family picnic over here, and you have no access to no facilities. So I don't know if that's something we want to revisit later or not. Because we had an opportunity for $400,000 and with a matching grant, or $200 with a matching grant, but as you know, that didn't go through.
no, and I'm not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting that the facilities part of it. I don't think there was a facilities part of it.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. I mean, we have facilities in Morgan Park, and we nice and maintained, and good for everybody. And this is a much bigger park right here. Several different types of activities available, recreational activities. So it's worth just thinking about that portion of it, I think.
Secretary, I might suggest maybe you put that on for next agenda of the meeting. Maybe we would want to bring that up. I think we might want to discuss it with Lynn and Kyle first because they may have strong feelings about how they'd like to see that or not. But I think I tend to agree with you. I'd like to see something done in the area of facilities. And then with residents could have keys or whatever, but you know, we might want to discuss that more at a later date.
Yep. Lynn, by chance, do you remember like the breakdown of that, like where the facilities were included in the bigger picture that got turned down? Was it like 20,000, 50,000?
To buy the restroom similar to what's at Morgan, that's probably today somewhere around 50. You know. And then you've got to, because they bring it on a truck, set it down, but you got to, you know, make sure you got the water and the sewer. And all of that's right outside, right here off the patio, and that's where we were going to put the restroom, so it wouldn't cost us a great deal of money to do that. But yeah, those come in, they're all self-contained.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they bring them in a truck, set them on the one at Morgan's on a gravel bed. You know, they just just set it right down on top of it.
Okay, so, forgive me for not knowing, but so like next steps, if we wanted to revisit that, what would we do? Like obviously, you know the pricing, you had like the groundwork laid out. Would it be something that like we present to city council at a meeting later? Would we try to find the money somewhere first?
We'd have to put it in the budget.
In the budget.
Yeah.
So,
But I think maybe more specifically in the interest of time too, we put it on next meeting's agenda because there are a lot, then there's the maintenance component, the cleaning component, all the added costs that come along with that. Not to mention, you're gonna find probably some pushback from some people about, again, that's gonna drop, and I'm not for or against it, I'm kind of neutral, because I understand the pushback very, very clearly. Because that is gonna bring people over here now, then they're gonna stay all day because
there's a bathroom.
kind of the Bel Air Shore mentality, don't give them umbrellas, they won't stay very long, a la Commissioner Bloom. Well, same thing here, we don't have restroom facilities, the building closes at 4 o'clock, people won't stay into the evening, so we might want to think about that.
Would it be appropriate to ask Lynn and Kyle what your thoughts are? Because you've thought about this a lot longer.
Well, when they did the initial master plan for this park, which was probably 4 or 5 years ago, the city council at the time had they thought, let's upgrade this park. And what Kyle did, and we kind of went through actually that was Kyle's first grant application. Of course, I've done many of them, but Kyle put it together and we took the master plan that was provided and came up with a plan to fix the park. So, if you're going to do improvements to the park, yeah, it probably needs facilities. And the other thing that I kind of look at is, okay, you don't have facilities, what really happens out here?
We know.
Kyle can tell you,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, whether you have facilities or not, people are going to find a place to use facilities.
I've seen that.
And so, the public's here, the realization is that the public is here. Look at the amount of people that come across this bridge back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was really got to the point in City Hall for a while that the majority of the people that walked in the building were the people that used the restroom. And, when we closed it for COVID, of course it stopped, but it's coming back, and, we're even, I will tell you that we're looking at locking the doors of City Hall. Because, they come in and do different things in the bathroom. We had a girl, and it was working for a resident, just to give you an example. She was coming over here taking a bath every day.
Right.
In the restroom.
We have that at Publix.
Huh?
That happens at Publix.
Yeah, so, but that's the nature. If you have facilities, Morgan Park is a good example. You can't control what people do when they lock the door and go in the bathroom. That's just what they do. It's the whole nature of everything.
We have a lot of homeless in the area.
We've been pretty good about, we get the deputies to
Right.
kind of run them off, and we'll give them to Indian Rocks Beach. It's better for us.
I've had them sleeping on the bench next to my house.
Yeah,
And using the bush, looking in my yard, using it as a urinal.
it's unfortunate, but, I would say in a park that's, got a reasonable amount of things, you probably need those facilities, because would you rather have them do it, the ramp coming up to City Hall, or right here, or,
Right, no.
I'd rather have them go in the restroom. So,
And even for residents, I mean, City Hall closes at 4:30. If they're playing tennis or they're doing whatever, pickleball, and they have to go, are they gonna drive home? And that's like people that live here that like,
No, they're not going home.
that's what I'm saying, like, so it would almost be better. So we can, this definitely needs more discussion, and it sounds like, you know, in the theme of it would be a good idea. So we can just table that and move it to next meeting's agenda.
Can I ask Elaine about playground equipment? What do you feel on that? Does any of it really need to be replaced?
Well,
Okay.
we had a plan to replace that too, and actually, we had money to replace the playground that we took out because it was damaged, but the city council, that was 2 years ago, opted, they didn't want it replaced. They didn't want to spend the money, because we went out and actually got the prices for it. Actually, you were on the part of the board at that time when we, you know, this isn't a priority, I'll be honest with you. It's not a priority, but, so, right now, in the city, the priority is stormwater.
I'm getting my stormwater bill.
Yeah, it makes sense. Are you good, George, or anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. The next is Kelly's, and when she said she was sick, I asked her to email me her surveys. So this is what I got. She just said I was assigned to check out 6th, 12th, and Bell Isle Park. All the locations look good and well maintained, no recommendations at this time. Thank you. So, we'll just say so much. Yeah. Nicole?
I had the 19th Street beach access, which I've never been to, and I thought it looked really great. It has obviously parking, a clear walkway, benches, shower, trash cans. It had the wide open clean space with the pavers, and then like the flat sand to get on the beach, which I thought was like really great because then you have to like go through the piles. It's a hot mess. The only like improvement, which is not like immediate, it's just like wear and tears, like the parking spots, like the lines are starting to like go away, and then like the curbs are kind of just like, I don't know if they were painted, but they're just like not painted anymore, but it's totally fine. It's not like immediate, it's just kind of like for looks. But it was like great. The walkway is like really clean and plenty of benches, so really nice, and might be a really good spot for like a bike rack, because there was like the one spot on the left that like you can put one, but nothing at this time. And then Bayside Park, which is like a really big park, I've never seen it before either, and that has like the swing bench, the benches, the bike rack, this small like wooden like bridge to get onto the beach, so there's like a small beach access there, the half basketball court, dog station for waste, swings for kids, slides, rock wall, the pavilion over the seating area, and then the observation dock, that I think that is, workout equipment, trash cans, parking spots, sand area, easy access to the tennis courts, and obviously City Hall. No like immediate improvements. I think that dock is for observation, but there's literally like trees and plants, and I can't see anything. But I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. But maybe that's a change coming up, because I did survey yesterday. And then one thing, because I almost like tripped, was like the tree roots. I don't know if there's anything that can be done with that, but they were coming up, but nothing like crazy. So I think it's a great place, and like really great access to the bridge. So, and speaking on the whole like families thing, like the restrooms, I don't really know what the ratio is for families like living in our town, like sorry, not the restrooms, like the park, like the jungle gym, I don't really know how much that gets used because I don't know how many kids live in Bel Air Beach or in the surrounding areas, but that'd probably be something we want to weigh out before spending money to replace all that if it's not broken or a safety hazard. That's all.
Don't we have 101 kids? Wasn't one born? Or we were 99, now we have 100? What is it?
Yeah, it's a very low number.
Yeah.
Well, we do that, so.
Yeah, exactly. And more to come, so.
We didn't do exactly that in a while, that's why I was kidding. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I want to thank everybody for doing this. I know it was, eye-opening, it was nice, and I plan on going to more, like listening to you guys give the descriptions, because I didn't get to go to all of them. I only went to half. So I'm going to make sure that I go to the rest of them. But it was nice hearing everybody's suggestions and compliments, and we obviously live in a beautiful area, and it's nice that we have so many things available to our residents that are so well maintained. So, and everybody's on top of it, I know. So it was like,
Can I add one thing before are you getting ready to sign out?
sign out for,
The meeting? No, okay, never mind.
yeah, where's item 3? So does anybody have anything else they want to add? I don't really think, I think Rick will type up the recommendations, and then like I said, I will email like my recap sheet and my pictures. I didn't print them out, I put them on my computer, which I didn't really think it would be appropriate to pass it around to everybody. So I'm just going to send them to Patty, and then she'll send them out to you so you can see. And the way I did mine was like, 3 on an email that went together with each point. So it'd be pretty easy to line up which pictures go with what. But other than that, like we'll just get the observations and recommendations typed up, and then see what we can do for next steps. Like what's easy, what's affordable, what can be done, and what's so big that we'll definitely move the bathroom and all of that to the next meeting's agenda. So is everybody good with that? Okay, great.
I just wanted to say that I went to the marina for the first time. After the last meeting, I had to go check it out because it was painted as this dilapidated marina that has no amenities whatsoever. And I was very, very surprised on how beautiful it actually was, minus the parking lot, which I realized that we can't fix. But outside of the parking lot, I thought the marina, the dock looked really beautiful. I thought everything looked, it was a chain link fence, but still, I thought it was nice. I don't know why it was kind of addressed as something that hasn't been taken care of. Now, the residents had to pave their own way and this and that, but it was really well maintained. I really kind of wanted to find out how much would it be to pave that road and put in the storm?
Probably,
Roughly.
it'd be in the 100,000s or more.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, because you've got to do it, the design, of course, is many, many years ago, so that would have to be updated. But I think, based on what you heard basically for the first time, the point was trying to be made that we don't need to raise rates, we don't need to do this, we don't need to do that, because I got to pay for my own boat lift. And there are some marinas that do the same thing we do. We're a small community. We don't have the capability to maintain somebody's boat lift. So I think what was kind of the direction of all that, it was a cost issue that someone was trying to broach. Because I will tell you that, and we've discussed that marina and the rates for the last probably 3 years. Every year, somebody comes up, says, we need to raise the rates of the marina. And every year, you know, and Mr. Lust did a lot of research trying to compare us, which you can't compare. You know, the marina that's at Clearwater Beach is a completely different marina operation. So there is no comparison. But as I said last month at the meeting, my point was that we had not raised the prices in 14 years. And at some point, you got to raise the prices. You don't really go 14 years without raising prices.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a
Can of
beautiful
soup.
little lot. It's a nice little gem.
14 years ago, what did a can of soup cost? 75 cents, and now it costs $1, you know. So the city council did pass the marina rates on Monday, and they will go into effect April 1st. So,
You don't have to worry about it.
No, it's already done.
no, because we graduated it, we did, you know, what was proposed, and so
It's good.
it's good, and it's off the radar.
And Bill's not here, we only got a letter, so. You
Huh?
got a letter?
You got a letter?
Yeah, from Bill. I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with, I don't know what it is.
It's probably the marina.
It's the word. You should open it to see. Did he tell you what it is?
No,
Open it.
I didn't even receive it.
But really, you know, it's loose usage of the word marina anyway. It's really just a dockage.
That's
I mean,
all it
you
is.
know, I mean, marina, there's full service marinas, partial service. I mean, to call yourself a marina, you should at least sell fuel. You know, I mean, fuel full service means you have some type of food and ice and things like that. So it's just a nice name for a wonderful community, but it's really not a marina.
No, it's dockage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's nothing. He wanted me to email him, and both emails he gave me got shot back to me. So, and he was supposed to be here today, but something came up, so that's all it says. So it's not a big deal.
yeah.
Okay, are we good? Are we ready to move on to item number 4? Okay, perfect. So item number 4, we're not going to spend a ton of time on it unless someone wants to, but the Bel Air Beach We Love Our City donation program details, I'm totally up for a new name on that, but Kyle did some research for us just to get it started off of the discussion we had last meeting. So he did some research and maybe talked to some vendors that they've dealt with, and some of the things that we had listed, he got the pricing together. So say just for example, Kelly, who has a dog walking cleaning business, she's like, oh, I would love to do the dog bag dispensers. So she would, like, say maybe she does 2, and then she pays, it's a donation to the city will order, and stop me if I'm doing this, if I have this out of order, but she would write a check to the city, which would be tax deductible, and then they would order the doggy poop bag dispensers and install them. And then somewhere on there, it would be like donated by Kelly's dog walking service.
Just like the benches right outside.
Exactly. So the garden club, so the benches that say City of Bel Air Beach, the garden club donated those same way. But they just kind of did it of their own volition. So I thought like maybe, I did research on like just, cities donate to your city. And like people have great little just short blurbs on their website that say, would you like to make a tax deductible donation? Here are some suggestions of things that we need. And something might pop out at someone. It's not going to be pushy or anything like that. But this would just give a general idea of some of the things, and I would love to open it up for discussion if there's any.
I think it's a great idea. I think local businesses would really enjoy putting their name onto something, so I think the plaque is a must to be recognized. And it's something that can be, a time frame on there, so that you can always regenerate money for the upkeep of it as well. I'm for it. I'm for any type of art with a little bit of plaque, even as a memorial, anything, copper that will oxidize, just for long term,
Right.
I think it would be.
The only thing I thought of is like, okay, obviously the plaque is going to cost money. Do we build the cost of the plaque into this number? Like, I don't want them to pay for their own plaque, but like, it's a cost.
It's built in.
So it's built into it, perfect. Okay, I was just curious.
The plaque doesn't cost that much, though. It's predictable, right? The gradings.
Is a donation to the city tax deductible?
It is.
Yeah.
Unless, we're not have a 501c3 or a foundation,
Well-
paying money to the, I didn't think they were tax deductible.
Well, a business can do that now.
Okay,
I wouldn't say a person,
that's right.
no, it's not tax deductible as a person.
In the past, there was a
gotta be a
Civic
foundation.
Association, which Debbie might be the only, and Lynn, of course, would remember. And they had a 501c3, so donations to it were tax deductible. And we had talked about that in the last couple of years about getting a 501c3 just for this exact reason. So maybe that's something that needs to be looked at, because if a resident wants to do it, they might not care, it's not a large deduction, but
Right, well, the research I did
people
said
might
it
want to make a
was,
larger
so-
deduction. Yeah,
Right.
or
But we have
donation.
a lawyer, right? And that's
Yeah.
something that can be easily set up
Mhm.
by
Yeah.
the city lawyer. It's really not too difficult to
So
understand.
you don't have to apply for it, or, because I asked my accountant, and then I just did some research online, so maybe like the cities that I looked at where it said your donation as a citizen is tax deductible, maybe they had this, and it just
Right.
didn't spell it out. Would we be able to get this? Because I would definitely want to before we would put anything out there.
Well, it'd be up to the city council. Some cities have that, they have it. Other cities, it's separate individuals that do it. But, I can have that discussion, maybe at a work session, based on your recommendation, just ask that question.
I think it'd be important. I think it'd be a big draw for residents to donate. And we did it for our PTO school.
Yeah,
Besides that lawyer on board, and she, I mean, I'm sure it was work for her, but it didn't seem to be too difficult.
no, it's not that difficult. It's,
Maybe beneficial.
there's other places I've been, we had our own, so.
Okay.
It's not. And unfortunately, the Bel Air, what was it called, Civic
It's
Association?
Civic Association, yeah.
Yeah, it, people moved and it kind of went defunct.
Yeah. Actually, the only surviving member, not surviving, but the only member of that I know is Debbie Mall. And she still actually has money in that account at Bel Air Beach Civic. And then the question for the council also would be, do they want to deal with that money? Or do they want a separate 501, so it's another account that we don't have a treasurer, but our accounting service would have to account for that money, and it has to be kept separate too.
Right, yeah,
So-
because a foundation set up, they have their own board of directors,
Yeah.
and it's set up that way. So, but some cities set it up, and then the council is the ones that appoint.
Yeah. And
So,
it's
is
kind
it-
of crucial to this conversation for us as a board, I think, to whether, probably need to take that up at the next meeting and do a little bit of research and find out exactly what would be involved, because clearly we need council's approval to do anything like that.
Right, yeah, this isn't a slow-mo, so this is just a conversation, we're still doing research, so that would be great. Do we just put it on the notes that we're
Yeah.
requesting that, and then, okay.
Okay.
Does anybody have anything else to add? No? Okay.
I think this is an awesome idea. I think we'd be surprised how many people are able to and would be willing to contribute to things like this. And then the city wouldn't have to worry about it, or certainly wouldn't have to come out of their budget. You can do a lot with $1,000 here, or,
Right.
so I think it's a great idea. Thank you, Nora. Yeah.
So, okay.
I don't, they can still donate directly to the city if they don't want the,
Yeah.
they don't need.
They can. Anybody can donate.
Yeah.
I mean, the garden club,
Yep.
they donated the benches.
You don't have to put the name on the plaque if they don't want to. Is that
No,
true?
what I'm saying is, if they just want to donate, and they're not concerned about a tax write-off, if they just want to donate something to the city, they can do that. They don't have to open up a side account
very inviting though to have that though, it's,
Most people do care about that tax write-off.
yeah, oh yeah. And it's nice to have it if they do. I mean, do you have a lot of people donating money to the city right now, just to?
Now, typically over the years, the Civic Association did stuff, but that's been, gosh, 17 years ago maybe?
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, and of course the Garden Club does. They do something pretty much every year. You know, they give us something like the benches. They've donated all kinds of things over the years to the city.
Do you know if they have a 501c3?
The
Garden Club?
I don't know what their situation is.
I'll reach out to them and find out, because if they do, there might be a way we could partner without having to reinvent the wheel. Because our interests and goals would be similar, I would think. So.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay. And thank you again, Kyle, for bringing all this stuff up. It helps, because it's actually way more approachable and affordable than, like, some, except for maybe the wood gazebo. It's the same price as the bathroom. Okay, so item number 5 is the 2021 activity calendar. So I literally just kind of brainstormed and threw down things, and I threw down things that I didn't even know that we already had. So, and I tried to like put things on that covered multiple ages, like multiple like activity level or whatever. But then I left some boxes, so I guess like right now, if we could, like, just brainstorm and add, and then maybe we can vote and see where we want to start. And like, I think maybe we should start small. Like, we have to be COVID friendly first quarter. We have to obviously, like, no one wants to go down to the beach right now and do boot camp. It's cold, or you know, it's even kind of cold to walk the bridge right now, depending on the weather. So we're going to be like weather mindful and like, I didn't know we had a garden club. I didn't know we already had a bridge club. I did know that we had yoga. I know that she canceled, you know, she's 2 days a week, like one class. I'm not sure what her class is. And then kind of went through it and explained to me like how it works as far as like the city charges the instructor 25% of the proceeds to be able to use the facilities, and they have to have liability insurance. And then we kind of went through just on the phone. I was asking him questions on how it worked, like what activities would need liability insurance and what activities would just be like maybe a group, you know, small group walking the bridge and going to get a cup of coffee. And obviously you don't need liability insurance for that. So I was able, just from business cards that I have or things that I see, like, you know, for the paint and wine class, like they do it on the beach at sunset. Like, he's called me back. The gentleman that you worked with in the past that did the stand-up paddleboard class that, you know, we took and my neighbors took that aren't here, like I talked to him, they have paddleboard classes, they have eco tours on kayaks, like they have different things. We can't really visit any of that until like maybe March or April just because it's too cold. But like, it's kind of like a, you know, where you're doing research and like you're putting together like a calendar. Like, I think the Bridge Club meets on Mondays at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday, Friday is yoga. So we already have one of these. It's already going. It's just like, I'm thinking that a lot of people don't really know what's on it. And the people that have been in the Bridge Club have probably been in the Bridge Club forever. And like maybe they invited their neighbor to join or whatever. Just never made it down to our end or whatever. May not be interested in Bridge at all. But I just thought if we kind of looked at the list and like maybe if we all came up with a solid maybe 5 to 10 things that we wanted to start with and start slow, and then we could, depending on our interests, do the research and say, you know, how much do you cost, all those. Like, say for example, I walked down Indian Rocks Beach and this lady was doing yoga on the beach, and like, so I looked up her website. Like, they do, you know, beach yoga all the way down. They mainly focus on tourists because they charge $20 a class, like Like, I am not paying $20 a class to do yoga, maybe once to try it, but if like, it's something that you're trying to do for like normal activity, like this is my workout every week, I'm gonna go to yoga Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like those prices aren't affordable. Like, I kind of want to do things that like, I think the lady now charges $10 a class, and honestly, I looked up the insurance, it's $2 a week. Like, they're not paying a lot of money for insurance, like that kind of put me off, but it's not expensive. And, but it does say if you're a local, call and we'll give you rates. So like the $20 is, you know, for a one-time shot that you're doing just because you're in town visiting. So just like there's a lot of research, or not a lot, I mean, they were easy phone calls to just kind of see, and we really can't put a calendar together until we see availability. Like we kind of talked about a book club, like Lynn's like, well, no one's here after 4, but you know, we maybe schedule someone to come open the building if it's cold and you can't sit outside. But otherwise you can sit outside and you don't need to get in the building. But a bathroom would be nice, George. If you were here for book club and whatever. So like, I'm not gonna read the list like that I put together. Again, anything on here could be crossed off with a big red X and we could put 10 more things. I was just kind of, you know, my brain was going blah. So does anybody, like, I don't know if you read it when she sent it to you, it was partially filled out last time. I probably have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 things where I personally know instructors, I've already taken the class or done the activity, or, you know, I have the pricing, but I didn't know if there's any like thing that like Ricky may look at and go, no, absolutely not, we don't want that here. Or Debbie, you may go, hey, how about this, because I've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yeah, pretty much everything covered. So I did this, maybe you have a different kinds of yoga, that's what I was concerned about. Have like yoga for older people like me, not someone in shape like you. I think we have a lot of things covered, and I think we have to start small. And I think I'd love to bring the community together. I think it's a very good idea.
Well, and the reason I think too we have to start small because as they've been talking about like, I've only been here for 3 years, but like I only knew about the yoga and I knew about the stand-up paddle because it was on the sign. So once we get a sign and I know there's going to be like a survey sent out, then is there any way that we can maybe, because it was suggested on Monday at the meeting, that like we maybe ask the community like if there are things that not just this group wants, but if like there's something that they're looking for, can we get that included in that survey, like maybe 3 or 4 questions?
The survey that's going, it's not a survey. It's a letter. We put it on the website already. We've got, I think, 104 back, and we're going to mail to everyone else after the 1st of January.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I did the survey online, but could we put like the 3 questions in that mailer?
Well, this is mainly to get a list to bill for things like surveys.
Right.
That, we're talking kind of 2 separate things.
Okay.
I mean, we did we had a constant contact thing, but we're finding that very few of the names on it were even residents. I think right now, out of the 470 people that are on that list, we got 82 people that were on the previous list. So that's telling you they weren't our residents.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is get that set up, and then we'll have a way to do surveys. But that's going to go out in January to the public, because that was developed by the communications committee.
Well,
So
does
we
anybody
don't want
have a
to.
suggestion on how many things that we, like what's a reasonable number to start with? Like say for the month of January. Do you want to start with 2 and see if we, I mean, the only way we can really generate interest, we talked about maybe putting it on next door neighbor, like obviously word of mouth. We could post it, like if somebody comes in to the building and sees it, because I'm assuming the sign won't be done for a while.
No, it's kind of going back and forth, right?
Right, so like, I'm not counting on the sign for the first quarter, to be honest. So
Right.
it's like, maybe we should just start with like one or three things on top of the things that are already on there. Cheryl, the current yoga instructor, is, I have a call out to her. She's gonna call me back. I'm gonna see when she's gonna restart, what type of yoga she teaches, because she's already established. She already knows what the fees are. She already knows. She has the insurance. She's got her following of like 12 people. And, you know, I haven't been to my yoga studio since COVID. Like, so like it's, people are looking for things to do, even if it's like sunny and beautiful, and she can do it. It's a different class and she does it out in the grass or something, or down on the beach. I think maybe because so many people are working from home now that never did, it's an option where we might be able to get her a bigger class, or if she's willing to add a few more classes of different types of things. I don't know what she does, but I'll ask her when have you taken her class, Lynn?
I have taken many yoga classes,
I thought so.
and that's a killer.
I think it's a rough time to start these group activities.
I do too.
I would love to see them. I'd love to see art, jewelry making. You know, that's something that 8-year-old can do along with chess, you know. If we're ever doing that park out there, I would love to have a giant chessboard. We go to Zurich often, and they have, I'm telling you, kids and grandparents playing against each other. It's just something that's for everyone. And it's pretty easy to maintain. Yes, will somebody steal some of the pegs every now and again? For sure, but with the
That's why you make them so heavy you can't move them.
they make them really heavy. It's fine, but you know, we can put an outdoor shed, lock them up. As I see somebody here, you know, I come by here a lot. There's always somebody maintaining it. So, you know, as they're locking up with the tennis courts, or do they lock them up at night?
The tennis courts?
At the same time, they can just throw them in the bin or whatnot. What else could be added to this? I think right now is a good time for the charity run walk outside, social distance.
Yes.
Something that can be easily done. Outdoor movie night, a little cold, but I think it's just a hard time to start this. But I'm game for anything that is. But we have to think more of things that we could kind of distance. You know,
Right.
people will come to.
Right, and I agree.
Just give it
So,
time.
and I did mention that when I gave her report on Monday, that like the first quarter we would focus on COVID compliant activities. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not starting any yoga classes indoors. Lynn said she may be starting back up again soon. She may not. I'll find out when she calls me. But anything first quarter will probably be more like the walking the bridge, the charity run. That's what I thought, like maybe we can discuss like which ones we thought, like maybe do 5 and then we could vote on them and see if we can get them on the
Do
calendar.
you guys do the polar bear lunch here?
Oh, good Lord.
I've never done it. I'm just saying that's something you can do outside.
Okay, see, this is
I
a
let my kids do
when
it.
we only thinking of me.
Polar bear, what's that? So, don't they always do
you
that
do
like
it?
the first of the year
I'll
or
take
something
pictures.
in Long Island? It's something that could be done. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, the kids would love it.
I would love to see the paddle boarding and kayaking and things of that sort, but that's a big asking to have a company bring.
No, I have a company and I have pricing and I have everything and he's worked with them before. He literally brings his trailer of stuff. He knows the program. He does kayaks, paddleboards. He used to be in Tarpon Springs. He moved to Clearwater. He has yoga instructors to do yoga on the beach. Like he's got all that.
Can we do
He's
this
like,
with the city funding it, so more people would come?
we can't. We talked about that, not unless you're a city employee. Because I was the same thing. I would like to do free activities or something that's affordable. Like, so I'm trying, and as I'm talking to these people, like I'm trying, like if it's under $10, it's affordable. Like the paint and wine thing or whatever that's on the beach that they do, that's $45, but it's 3 hours. He gives you the chair, the canvas, the paints, you know, the easel. It's self-contained. Here's your whole thing for 3 hours, and then you bring your own food and whatever you want to drink. That's a little pricey, but I don't think it's out of line for a 3-hour activity. And you would do that, what, once every, you know, no one's doing it every week. And that one I didn't think was bad, but that's the whole thing right now, to find like either free things things that are COVID-friendly outside or things that are affordable, and people will be like, it's not just gonna be a one and done because it's too expensive. And so this is great, like have we ever done a charity run in Miller Beach?
No, they come through here a lot, but
Yeah.
it's
Can we
not
close
us.
down the bridge?
Huh?
Can we close down the bridge?
You won't get to close down the bridge, but you can get a permit to go across it. And like one lane, they've done that. You know, there's groups. But you might be surprised at the logistics and the cost and things that
Right, it's,
it's.
To hire police officers to close things down or keep everyone safe?
Yeah,
Right.
but you gotta
That
have
sort.
the sheriff,
Because I think a bike race would also be, I see tons of bikers going up and down Golf Boulevard. I mean,
right.
it's just, it's scary and terrifying to me. But
Actually, I
I think
think-
closing streets down would
Didn't you
be
guys talk about that?
safest.
A run,
Yeah.
we did, and it was a huge, it was gonna be a huge project.
Yeah.
You're right, there are a lot of pieces that you never think about till you try to put one together.
Yeah, I was the chairman of one in Oldsmar,
Oh.
Rotary,
Yeah,
and, we had 700 runners probably, and it's a lot of work, a lot more than you can imagine,
Yeah.
because of the logistics, and people just don't want to, they want to run and get a little medallion or trophy, and a lot of them use it for time, because they run in other races, and they use it for qualifying or whatever it is, and it's got to be official time, and, so it's not anything that's, you've got to spend some time on it to use it. You need it advertised, and you got to have insurance, and you got to have sheriff's deputies. It's a lot more logistical support than you.
and then it's also a lot of demand on our time too. You start putting these things together, you find out, boy, there's an awful lot to it. But that's a separate thing from getting word out, saying, hey, anyone interested in running the bridge, come out and meet your neighbors. We're basically going for a community jog, then you can work your way around all that. But what I might suggest for consideration is set a date for a January meeting and try to do it early in January, and we each come back with a couple of things that we might want to do, to look at, maybe do the first one at the end of January, and then look at February and March, because, to the point of communication, getting the word out is what the city is trying to do, and it's not a very good return yet, and this has been a problem that's plagued us for a long time, is how do we get the word out, number one, and number two, make sure that we don't get the word out outside the Bel Air Beach. That's where a lot of, and I understand it entirely, that a lot of the pushback came with events, was bringing outsiders into our quiet city. So, and I don't do social media. I rarely ever go on it. So I don't know if, like, next door, occasionally I look at it, or I get a notification and it's from Bel Air Shore, or not Bel Air Shore, but Bel Air Bluffs. So I don't know if we have our own, or next door includes the whole Indian Rocks area.
It's a lot of work to maintain it. Somebody
Yeah.
has to kind of dedicate
So-
themselves. Indian Rocks
Yeah.
Beach has one, and it's just community driven, and that's kind of, on next door, everything kind of gets lost, but the Indian Rocks
Gets
Beach
merged
one
in, yeah.
is where I get all of my information that's going on.
So I think that we could, and I'm sure, Lynn, I think you would do this for us if we could just do it by update, because we know that's going. How many families does that go to? When you do the Bel Air Beach update, is that still only going to maybe,
Well,
how many families?
based on, well, you're talking about the news.
The news, right?
Okay. And we put that out every other month.
Yeah.
And, it's, I'm guessing it's getting to maybe 100 people.
right,
in-
out of
in the city.
1,200.
Yeah.
Out of 15, almost 16
It's
members.
emailing it?
Huh?
It's being mailed?
Email.
No.
Emailed.
Email. It's constant contact.
What about like a Facebook page?
Exactly. Private Facebook page where like you give out communication to everyone and tell them about it, and then it's their responsibility to join in, and that would be private. And then it would just, even if it's something like I would have, like if I needed to help, like I would totally be willing to help with that, but just to verify that people that we are accepting are Bel Air Beach residents.
And that's what we're doing with this
Trying to get
communication
that.
survey, because for us to accept what they send back to us, it's got to have a Bel Air Beach address on it that we can verify that that's actually who lives there. Because we've got some, even of the 100 few, that they've got an address that we don't even have that street here. So you know, they're just saying, oh yeah, I want to get your information, but
It's not the owners of the land that are
no,
renting it?
no, it's people, you know. One that we looked at recently was from Cypress Street, and I don't know, that's all it said, Cypress, and I know.
And you're a
for
former
fact
mayor, I think you would know.
there's no Cypress Street. So, yeah, so that's why what the communications committee goal is to collect this database, and, you know, because people say, well, I didn't know this or I didn't know that. And as funny as it may seem, a gentleman just called before I walked in this meeting from the undergrounding project that we did on Bellevue Estates Island. He's been paying an assessment for 2 years and didn't even know it. He's selling his property and said, well, I didn't know anything about this. Well, you paid, I think it's a vacant lot, so he's paying $1,267 a year. Didn't even know it. But he's selling his property and it came up on a assessment surge. So he called the city today, like right at 3:30, and said, why am I paying this?
So I'm watching your reaction a little bit, because I was the same way when I first became a part of this. I was like, we don't have a way of communicating with the city. And I've learned, predominantly from Lynn, that they've been working on this for years. People are reluctant to give up their email addresses. They certainly don't want to be on social media unless they request to be on it. And so this is, unfortunately, a real challenge to try to get the word out.
I think creating a Facebook page was the way to go, and announcing that on our board once we have one.
Well, we have a Facebook page.
You have a Facebook page?
Yeah. It's not marketed. That's part of what the communications committee, but we're only going to push out information. We're not going to receive information.
We can also direct mail everybody. It's very easy to get lists, and we know all the address, and let people know that we have a Facebook page, but we need to be updating it and putting things on there for people to actually.
It's set up so when we update the website, it will push it to Facebook. So anything we put on the website will go to this Facebook page. But it's a one-way communication for us, because we don't want to get into the two-way communication, because then it becomes a public record.
Right.
And that's worse than, you know, for government, that's part of the problem.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be, you don't have to respond and return answers on there. I think just posting things, activities that are happening, or.
So all of this stuff that you're talking about, communications, it's coming, but the committee just finished it, and we, the council basically said, you know, I suggested to them that we do the constant contact list and then wait till 1st of January to do the mailing for the balance, because between Thanksgiving and Christmas, how much junk mail do you get that you may not even look at? So,
But with that said, I think there's so much fun to be had. I think we just move on with it, and we pick some events, we do them, we talk to people about them, and we get the word out on the front side, because this isn't going to get fixed anytime soon. So I think we just start moving, and people, the word passes when they say, who are those guys kayaking down there? Well, you know, what's going on? We want to be a part of that. So that would be my suggestion for January.
It's a direct mail that you're sending out in January to get the information, isn't it? Mailing to each house.
We're gonna mail to anyone that hasn't already responded.
Okay.
Which right now we have 100 people. So it's gonna, it's gonna go to the balance of the property owners. That's- Yeah, we're gonna take the tax appraiser's mailing list. So if you get your taxes, you'll know.
Okay, so if everybody's good with it, we are just gonna table this till the next meeting. If everybody could, like, maybe pick 2 or 3 things that they would like to kind of champion and like do the research on the costs and like the instructor or whatever, and then just bring it back and present it at the next meeting, and then hopefully by then we'll be able to get some things like out there that we can have people sign up for. And even if we can't do like the charity run, like Rick suggested, and it's really already on here, like a couch to a 5K training. Like, you know, if you run here to pretty much the marina and back, it's a 5K, maybe a little bit more, maybe 4 miles. But if you do like, Audible has a training program where, you know, it's just like you can be 6 feet apart, and it's like, you know, you run and you walk and you run, you walk, and you don't need any of the bells and whistles of the insurance. It's just some friends getting together outside and trying to run 4 miles. But, so is everybody good with that? George, you look like you have a question.
No, I'm just a little, I'm thinking, you know, the COVID era.
Yeah, so everything that we're gonna look at for first quarter is gonna be COVID friendly, where we can be outside, you can be socially distanced, so nothing in the building. It's either gonna be like outside on the beach or on the sidewalk, or where you can spread apart.
I think you already said it's what we're trying to 2 things, COVID and winter.
Right. But people are outside so you know, I'm bundled up out there walking, people are
That's
so
it.
bundled. You don't have to do it, George.
I'm not going.
That's the other thing, like, even myself, I'm trying to get my mind out of things that only I want or don't want to do. Like, you know, it'll be nice when we're able to ask, like, the general community what their interests are, but like, right now, we're gonna kind of have to find things that are generally applicable. So yeah, if everybody could just do 2 or 3, and then like, bring back like the pricing, and if you have an instructor, or just what your favorite, like what you would like to see on the activity calendar for the first like 3 or 4 months. And then we'll just try to build it. Like, we're not gonna try to like do too much too fast, it's too confusing. We'll just see how it goes. And like, if we put something on there and nobody shows up for 4 weeks in a row, or you know, whatever, then we take it off and we'll try something else. So it's just gonna kind of be like a, you know, we'll just see how it goes. Because there's really no way to gauge it otherwise. And then
When do we want to have a meeting in January? Do we want to set a date?
yeah, no, that's at the end of, well, on her little guide to me.
Okay.
She said, yeah, no, I saw, the next meeting, you know how she likes to, she asked me for 2 options
Yep.
to see what fits people. So, it's either Wednesday, January 6th or Wednesday, January 13th. And I was wondering if anybody would mind if I moved it up to 3 o'clock.
That's
Is that a
better for
problem?
me earlier. Earlier is better for me.
Earlier is better.
Oh, yeah.
Is everybody okay with 3 as opposed to 3:30? Okay, perfect. So she'll send that out and you can respond, but either one of those Wednesdays at 3 p.m. So then we're going to try to be out of here by 5. Okay. So then, in speaking to Lynn about like these things, and Lynn, correct me, this was my understanding of it, but like, we can put an activity calendar together and not have to go to council and get every yoga class approved. Like, this is what we do. We don't have to have approval on a paint and wine class or whatever. But we do have to get approval on events. Like, we have to get approval on, like, so the outdoor movie night, I should have put that on the next page, because that is an event. That's something that would be when it's warmer, we've got to rent equipment. Like, that was just something I threw on there. But like, things that we tabled last year, like we talked about, like the Christmas tree light. Like, we already know, you know, December of 2021, we would want to light the Christmas tree probably around December 4th or December 6th, like depending. So that kind of thing we could put on the calendar now, and we could take to council and say, these are maybe, and like the garage sale, it's always in April and November. And people generally like that, and it's always been done, so we would make sure that that's on the calendar and we have them approve that. Like we kind of talked about, Lynn and I did, and we could vote on it, is like a Halloween dog costume parade, where we would meet at here and kind of go up and down. Like that would be the kind of thing that we would have to all vote on, agree upon, pick the date, and then take to council and have them say, yes, that's approved, or no, it's not approved, for whatever reason it's not approved. And then the other one would be like just maybe a community picnic here at the grounds. So, because that could be COVID friendly, and that would be another thing that I would ask for everybody, like if you were setting up your own picnic here and you had to be COVID friendly and maybe not, maybe the rules were kind of like loosened a little bit, what would be your ideal way to do it? Like, would you want live music?
Live music, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, is live music would be kind of friendly for everyone.
Yeah.
Easy to spread out.
Exactly. And then I thought too, if we're still under like strict COVID restrictions, then we're not trying to feed people, because you have to have gloves and masks and everything has to be individually bagged, and people all like different kinds of food. So it's like everybody can pack their own picnic basket, and we focus the funds on the music, or maybe set up a beverage tent where it's bottled water, bottled, everything is, we're not making pitchers of lemonade and pouring it. It's literally like, here's a bottle. Or whatever the case may be, but if like everybody could also bring back at the next meeting their ideas for what you would think would go well at the picnic. And if you like music, like say for example, last weekend we went to Turpin Springs to this new Creole restaurant, and they had New Orleans jazz, and they were amazing. It was uplifting, and the music was fun, and we were there at 11 in the morning. So it was kind of like a daytime thing. So like it's on my notes to call and get their pricing for like say maybe a 2-hour deal or something. Like how much would they charge to come to Bel Air Beach, set up outside, and play for our picnic. And then we could go with the New Orleans thing, or like maybe have, how like I've only been to New Orleans once, but the thing that stuck out to me were all the like artists on the street like doing those little caricatures. Like that might be fun for, just anything like that. So like think about kind of what you would like to see happen at the picnic. We do have a budget to work with, and I was thinking that this would be like something, if it got approved, that we would use that budget for.
Yeah, you have money set aside.
So, and then that would really be the only thing on here that costs money at this time. So again, we're starting slow, because I know you guys are old and pat at this, but like the rest of us are kind of newer at it. And I would rather do 5 things really, really well than trying to do 20 things and they all flop. So it's like, I want to focus and get the details down.
I'm with you on that, and I think we should also focus on getting it funded by the city though, somehow. Charging residents, I feel like it's gonna kill it.
No, we have a budget. Is that what you mean? Like,
Yes.
we wouldn't charge people.
Okay, I thought you meant.
Oh, for the picnic?
Anything.
We're just gonna charge you for the picnic.
So like you can do an Oktoberfest in October, same kind of theme, music, beer.
Well, you know what would be, I would think if like if we did the picnic in April and May and it went great, then we would like then go back and ask if we had the money in the budget to do the Oktoberfest and do a different kind of beer and pretzel kind of thing.
I love your idea though. I love your New Orleans jazz. I feel like that would be. Doesn't Clearwater do a jazz festival every year too? I mean, they have a much bigger lawn and everything, but yeah. Sorry, it just popped in my mind, but I love the jazz idea. I feel like that's a crowd pleaser with music.
Okay, so yeah, no, great, and they were so good. I was very impressed with them, and honestly, like this is a new restaurant. I don't think they're shelling out big bucks for them. I really, really don't. So, so I'll do a little bit more research on that. If anybody thinks of anything else that they would think would be like great for it, and we could, if we do the the garage sale in April, I don't know, like we could maybe do it in May, then we're pretty much assured nicer weather. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, just if, whatever you guys think, we can back, we can vote on it and then kind of get it, and then present it to council and get just a couple things approved, and then work on the calendar very slowly, trying to incorporate things, so.
Last year, we had some discussion about the boat parade.
Like a Christmas?
Well, I think it was around Christmas time. Could be the 4th of July or could be anything.
Well, we were looking at a December boat parade, a holiday boat parade. And that got canceled along with the others. So, but yeah, no, I think that's something that there are enough people that have boats. And we were looking into trying to find a captain to lead it that knows the waters at night, getting in and out of these canals. But yeah, that's one certainly could be a lot of fun.
That's a good one, yeah, because we have to go to Indian Rocks or Clearwater if we want to do Christmas boat parade right now, either be in it
Right.
or just watch it. So, and yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Is that something that we could use the bridge in, if we had an evening boat parade? People could get on the bridge and watch it from there? Or-
Yeah.
I don't know. what-
Well, yes and no, because well, it depends how the captain runs it. We were talking about going in and out of our canals, like they do down in Indian Rocks Beach. So that would make it a little bit more difficult unless you're at like 16th Street and you can look out and see them come in and out of the canals. But you know, if you've ever been to Indian Rocks Beach Parade, it's pretty big. Or boat parade, it's a pretty big deal.
It might be a good idea just to extend on from Indian Rocks Beach the same night, the same day they're coming through. They're coming in like a week or two, right? I mean, it's too late for right now, but for next year, I mean, so much of Bel Air Beach is waterfront. And there's so many green space and parks for everyone to go to that is not. I think that would be something really great to plan for next year and start trying to get us on. I think the same night would be ideal, to be honest, but we can try to do a separate night. I mean, they've already decorated their boats, why not do the
No, I was
next
just
weekend if they're
thinking
down for it?
No, it's great.
The concept, we can do it anytime, add on or not add on. We have plenty of time to discuss it.
Yeah, for sure.
They end right near our house.
What about fireworks, 4th of July?
It's a lot of money.
I know. It's nice.
I can see Lynn out there with her own candle.
You have no idea how much fireworks cost.
Oh, it's ridiculous too.
And there's so many people around us that have fireworks. I literally could just sit on the couch and watch, like right across. And like the water, they have so much at Indian Rocks Beach. I know last year they didn't. Because it's such a mess.
15.
I can still see it up in Clearwater happening. I can still see it.
It makes
from
me
the-
insane
over the
when I
bridge.
watch.
Yeah, and it bothers so many of the dogs that people throw a fit. That
Oh, that's a big one.
the medicine, like the tranquilizers, you have to give your puppies who lose their
My dog's
minds.
terrified too, but
Fireworks, just to let you know, 20-minute show,
yeah,
$15,000.
We don't have that.
I'm on board.
Huh?
I said, I'm on board.
Really? I mean,
Can someone donate the money?
and that was a deal
I say we raise the marina rate.
that we had them every year,
Yeah.
$15,000 a year.
Holy
I don't like the waste, the dirt.
Huh?
I said, well, I don't like the dirt and the waste from.
Yeah, the garbage is unbelievable, like you need.
Well, in Oldsmar, we had them put them, I had them on the pier.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the dirt they do on the beach.
Oh, yeah, well, Indian Rocks this year stopped all fireworks on their beach.
Didn't
They were
stop
gonna,
it though.
They're the
They
whole
were
way
gonna
up
arrest
shore.
they were gonna arrest them if they did it.
They did it.
They did it.
They did it. It was pretty messy afterwards.
Yeah,
And
it's
safety
messy
is-
for us too.
All right.
Okay, so is everybody good with that? Just kind of go through and, you know, if you have any questions, you can call Pat and she would be happy to help you. And then we can get some things going. So item number 6 is just all other business. And I believe,
I have
we
one
tried
question.
to, yeah, talk.
This is something, when I went to all the parks, and then I walked. One of the things, and I think Ricky already said it'd be too expensive, and I had a couple of people say they would like a place where you have actually the fence dock, if you could put a kayak thing on any of that. That was a suggestion I got from 2 different people on my walks. And then the other thing too, I think he talked to us about possibly doing something to the sidewalk, the walkway through.
The easement?
The easement, and I had all negative against that. So,
Well, the city council's asked me to look at paving them.
and the couple of people that said it to me, it made sense, because you know how we walk Boulevard
Right.
every day. And out there, on that sidewalk, we get the people with the motorized bikes, the scooters, all of that, people going to work, that kind of thing. And the number of people that I was by their houses, and they were wondering what I was doing. And I see you were talking on the Parks and Recreation, and we're looking at possibly doing something through here, and no one, they were all, no. Because it's like, especially down in our area, and the other thing that brought up to me, I'll tell you about the bridge, it's like a thoroughfare,
Right.
you know.
This
and
end of town is,
and I'm telling you, to get to that bridge, it would be a nightmare. And then I was thinking about it, because I was on the walk yesterday, when you go across, the walkway is on the right side of the pond. So anybody coming across that bridge would see that damn sidewalk and make a thoroughfare through there. I totally against it. And everybody that, I had not any positive reaction.
well, there's a cost to it, and the council asked us to look at that, and I think, you got the price.
How much is it?
It's a lot of money.
Well, who wants it though and why? I mean, do they
Well,
engineer it? or
there's a couple council members that feel that, those are emergency accesses. The other concern is, unfortunately, people have planted trees in their yard, and they've put what's ended up a tree root. So, or there's people that have put, which we've talked to several of them, that have put their fence in the easement.
I've seen it, I saw that yesterday.
So we went and told them they're gonna have to move it, because, what they did is they expanded their yard. It's kind of like,
That's one house up there.
yeah, I'll give you an example. It's the 2nd Street Park. If you look at it, the house on the left, they thought it was their landing area one time to do whatever they wanted. They were dredging, and no, the park isn't for you to go in here and tear it up. And, so, but there is some concern, that somebody could trip and fall because of tree roots or what have you. And the other issue is you can't really go in there and put a bunch of dirt on top of it, because then what it does, it's affecting the property owners that are along. So that's what the theory was. And, I don't know how it came, but, just, that was many, long time before I was ever living here, that those walking easements were there.
We're talking about the walking easements between like 2nd and 9th.
Yeah.
They're going to pave it.
No, it's a discussion. I don't know how far it'll go.
Well, because of seeing the thoroughfare, it really helped once the signs were up about the non-motorized things. Before that, you'd have the people going through there and all that. And it's not even so, it doesn't really bother me so much. It's people that I love, that the old neighbors that live along there. And, it's great at their table on their porch.
They live next to it, they can put up a fence, they can
Well,
do anything
it's,
on their
but it's
side. They
taking
choose
away-
not to have fences there.
I think we have a sidewalk above Boulevard. I don't think we need another walkway through town.
I use it daily.
Yeah,
You what?
me too.
I walk the dog through it daily, and I love the waterfront homes because they have a wall with green growing over it, and I feel very comfortable, and I kind of do the horse blinders on, so I'm not in somebody's kitchen.
Exactly.
But they have every right to put up a fence every right to put up some hedges and everything that they want.
Well,
The
in
easement's
most,
there and they can't take
most,
it away.
yeah, most sections along that trail have a fence or
Right, they do.
shrubs or, you know, at this end of town, there's a couple that, they planted the areca palms and that what they've basically done is tried to take over the access. Well, then people are not happy with that, so we gotta reclaim our accesses, I guess. And, you know, whatever it ends up, it's a costly adventure to,
The difference too, the sidewalk of Brook Boulevard has lights. Back there, would be a sidewalk through dark.
Right.
And we have more people in there at night. And that's, I didn't have anybody want to,
I think we get a lot of people from Indian Rocks. that
well, we get a
walk
lot.
that. They walk that, they come out of the finger there, by your house, in
A lot of
yours.
people do that to go to the bridge.
To do the bridge, they jog
Yeah.
through. We get a lot of joggers through,
Oh,
but
it's great, yeah. Lots of
Yeah.
nice people.
But the concern still is if someone trips on a tree root or falls or something because it's not a level path, then guess who's responsible for that? Be the city. So,
I sprayed a couple of orange.
yeah,
I did, that was me doing
or we're just gonna have to go
orange
to,
paint.
root ball cutting, basically. Yeah, so,
And one last thing I'd say is, as we come up with these ideas, if it involves resources, money, support, particularly from Kyle's staff, before you get too excited about it, might not be a bad idea to call Lynn and just ask him his opinion of how the council might, you know, go. Or if you have a favorite council member, call them and say, hey, I have an idea, because we can't communicate, but I have an idea. How do you think the council would react to this? And they might tell you, don't even bother. You know, just to kind of put it in perspective. And Lynn knows, he knows it all, so he's always a good resource. And say, what do you think the council would? Because he'll tell you, yeah, probably not.
So the council hasn't voted to go move forward on this, it's just kind of still in limbo, it's a discussion?
no, they asked us to get some prices, and we've done that, but what we talked about doing was when we do these stormwater projects, because we've got the asphalt people there, if they did do it, we just add it on to the project. So it wouldn't be as costly because you do once a year, a section.
Does anybody have anything else to add to the easement conversation? Does anybody have anything else they would like to discuss?
I think it's time for me, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, we don't even have to make a motion to adjourn according to Patty. We're just going to adjourn at 5:30. So, is everybody good with that?
I second that motion.
All right, and the next meeting will be, like I mentioned, Wednesday, January 6th or January 13th at 3 o'clock, and she will send out an email to ask you your preference at the time. I'll just leave that in. Everybody back to their ideas, that would be great.
Everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Yes.